How's it going, guys? And welcome back to the channel. This is SCC, and tonight we're looking at the round 16 review, which sees us back into the winners section for a lot of reasons, with a nice score of 2,416, seeing us with a nice 4,000 rank for the round 16 scoring, and up 2,000 for the season. So back into the 7,000, well, a top 8,000 anyway, and we're hoping to move further as we continue to go on with 7 or 8 rounds left. There's still plenty of time to move up because everyone's loaded on trades, teams are finished, so hopefully we've done enough to be able to have a good enough team to just outscore the rest. And if this week's anything to go by, it looks like we might be on the right track. So let's just jump right in here and have a look at the team and how we scored. So having a look at the team, you can see the defense with Sheasel 103, so a bit of an off week for him, but still got to 100, which is great. Everyone's got him, so it doesn't make a big deal. But Houston, probably the biggest disappointment this week, scoring 59 against St Kilda, a team that we've seen give up really big scores to defenders. Houston decided to go for a 59, which wasn't great, but he would be up there in ownership now. I think a lot of people jumped on, and he's still got a 3-round average of 111, I guess, but that 59 is pretty frustrating. Not that anyone's really looking to get him anymore, but anyway, with 26% of teams, the 1 in 4 that had him is probably the worst one to have gone badly, realistically. But maybe other than Clark, because Clark was looking at a really bad score at one point, and then he had like 60 in the last quarter to get up to 100, which was great. Ryan just banged out 116 pretty easily. Nas 92 is pretty average for him, and then the big Gov was unstoppable against Hawthorn, racking everything up and putting a big 132 now. From what I can see, he might be injured, but don't know much about that yet. And we had Baker on the bench. So what happened was I decided to loop Sorko in the forward line just in case Sorko copped an injury or something, which he didn't in that first game because Dawson played second. And we found him. He went 115, so we took that score, and I decided to go Mackay over Baker, just considering where they keep playing Baker isn't great. And Mackay pumped out an 82, so looking back on the Baker trade, it probably would have been nice to have gone Caldwell instead, especially considering Caldwell had a different buy to Baker, the earlier one. But, the defense forward swing is nice, and we've still got a bit of coverage going on. So moving into the midfield, Bont, he was a captain after the 79 from Gorn. I went Bont, Marvel, let's just lock it in, get it done. North might try and tag, but I feel like Bont's probably big enough to work through a tag. And even with the back spasms, he pumped out a 157. So pretty like Bont to just have an issue and absolutely smash a big score. And I want to get on him for the Brownlow because I think he's a bit underrated with what's going on with Dacos, etc. But I haven't seen the odds actually, so I don't actually know that. But I thought he was like, maybe he was like second or third favorite, maybe. But I reckon he's prime. I reckon this is the year he finally wins it. And I think he's been the best player personally, especially so far. But as far as a game winner as well, like Bont, like Dacos is probably up there, but I feel like Bont is another level, especially that game against Collingwood. He absolutely, where he went like 170, 180, like he was ridiculous in that game. So, great game from Bont. Gordon, the week that no one went captain on him, he decided to put out a 95, and this was actually saved by a really good last quarter score. And it's probably one of the things that helped me was that no one really went massive that were like actual captaincy options. I think a few would have gone wild. Should be interesting to see. I think he was probably a bit of an obvious one. Went 148 against Richmond, but Goulden saved his score. Same with Dacos. I think he had a really good half or something like that, and then slowed down. Sarong 85, so he had a really good half and then dropped off. Where Sydney started to take over that game, Fremantle mid struggled, and that really didn't help Sarong. Dawson, he had a massive second half to pull out this 94. He was on like 30 or something at the half, getting tagged by Toby Bedford, and it's the big problem with Dawson is everyone tags him, even though, you know, you probably have guys that get a bit more of the ball. He's the more damaging guy, and yeah, Bedford stuck to him pretty hard, but being a little bit undersized, Dawson was able to use his size to his advantage and get a lot of chop out marks, which helped him with his scoring. Tom Green was racking it up everywhere, got a nice 117. I didn't watch the Essendon game, but yeah, Martin pretty much scored the same as Merritt, so it was pretty much a 0-0 for me. Like, you know, if he goes 75 and Merritt goes 78, I'll take that as a win because he's the bomber I've got. And yeah, well enough for me. Well enough for me anyway. And a lot of people have Martin as well. And Rosie put a 103 on the board, which is a bit disappointing because it probably could have been a bit better, especially because he was like on 80, like he was top scoring very early. And Butters kind of ran away with it, I guess. So, which was a little bit annoying because I don't have Butters. But wasn't punished too hard. McKercher missed again this week, so that's frustrating because I've held him for so long and he's just not playing. So I'm kind of thinking about maybe I trade Richards and him to get like a Dunkley or something like that, because Dunkley's playing ridiculously well. Get a mid-forward swing and yeah, just lock it up there. It could be, I mean, I probably should be getting like a Jackson, because if one of my rucks get injured, I will be stuffed. It will pretty much be a 0, and that's probably what I have to do, but I don't really want to do it. I know, I guess Jackson's not bad as a loop, right? Because you can just loop him, see what score you get, and then go from there. But yeah, I'd rather not. But it might be something I have to do. I guess the other thing is if Dowling, like if McKercher comes back, he's probably going to score better than Dowling, although as we can see, he's a little bit more injury prone. So maybe I trade McKercher and Richards, get Jackson, and then just get that mid forward swing, and use that to loop with Mackay, which wouldn't be horrendous, I guess, because like Mackay's a bit up and down, and we'll try and figure that out. But yeah, really frustrating with McKercher. Dowling had a good game. Late goal pushed his score up. So this was probably more like a 40. Got that late goal, pumped it up a little bit. Brown was a sub again. So that's frustrating because I just want him as a loop. Stop playing. He was a late in for Bowie being out, and he played the sub again. So I think he's going to like lose money. I think his break even was like 20 and he didn't reach it. So it's 23 this week. So hopefully he just, you know, gets the bye or something, but I think they had another injury. I think they had, another injury. I can't remember who, but yeah, hopefully he just becomes a loop at some point. Grundy and Gorn both had down weeks, but as for the popular rucks, they actually outscored English, so that was good. I think, and Sherry went absolutely ham, so he actually looks like a really good pick. I think that was pretty underrated. TDK didn't play, so anyone who got Tom de Koning in was pretty much rooted because we have a look at that game. There wasn't anyone to really go on, was there? Hawthorn, you could have swapped to Meek, because Meek had a big game actually. Meek had like a 140. Thanks, Meek. He never had a 140 with me, but yeah, he had a really good game. So I guess that would have been one that you could have maybe gone to instead of Tom, but I don't know. I mean, Nane Curvis as well, but then you kind of stuck with him. I think Meek, realistically, even Nane Curvis is actually scoring pretty well. I don't know if he scored. Actually, I think he scored all right. Where did he go? He must have gone all right. Last round, he scored a 121. So like Nankervis isn't like bad, and that was against Pitner as well, who's actually a good runner. I would have rather Nankervis against TDK because they're like you would have manhandled him. But yeah, there were a few options there, I guess, that were actually would have worked out decently for scoring. But yeah, down weeks from them, but we'll move on to next week with those two. Flanders, man, I didn't realize how underrated a season the bloke's playing. Have a look at his scores. Hasn't scored under 100 at all. Like, it's pretty incredible for a guy who was kind of slated as a forward. Well, had to play forward all last year, then got on a good patch of run at the end of the year when the coach kind of changed up things a little bit. And now with under Dimmer, he's just ridiculous. Like this, and you know, this is probably disappointing for people because he was on like 108 at the half. It's something ridiculous. It was like 100 very early into the third quarter, and then really didn't score anything for the rest. I think he got put in the midfield a little bit as well, but like he has been very underrated considering, and like just really, really solid. Probably not getting the massive scores. Like Heaney's still out doing better for average, as you can see, but like, yeah, definitely the floor is a little bit better on Flanders at the moment. And yeah, Heaney, a bit of an average game, and Rankin's really setting out as a great pod. So glad I held him. So glad that he just looks so good. Like watching him play, now he's getting even more midfield time. Like they just don't like GWS just really didn't know how to stop him, and I think they were like stuck between whether they should put Bedford or onto him or Dawson. I really think they probably should have made the switch to a more like close attack. They might have done that. I don't know. Because his like scoring did slow down, but he was taken off like with an injury for a little bit. But man, he just like sharked everything early. He had like 9 disposals first quarter, which is pretty unlike Rankin considering he's a small forward. And yeah, just scoring really, really well. Kicking goal, like he kicked 1 goal 3 or 2 goals 3 or something like that. So if he kicked like straight, because he like a few of the ones he missed were very gettable goals. It wasn't like snaps from the boundary. It was, you know, running into the forward 50 and just missing. And if he can get that, he'll get these 130, 140s very soon. And with Matt Crouch out of the team, he's just got, there's no reason not to be playing more midfield time. And I'd be interested to see what his DFS looked like. Dylan Moore, great to see he pumped out a score, gave us one of the big ones that we've been looking for. He seemed to be just getting out the back and kicking goals for them, which was great. Mackay, pretty average score. We're not really getting to use him for what I wanted to use him for, which was, you know, looping him with Baker a little bit, but can't complain too much. 80 is pretty good. And, you know, these are pretty down gains for him, so you gotta expect a big game coming soon. I don't know if GWS be the ones with Buckley and that, but, you know, he did better than Kerno, which a lot of teams brought in, so we can't be too mad about that because Kerno, what's Kerno's ownership? It's like 16%, so to Mackay's 7%, so pretty good for us. You know, he's probably a pretty popular F6 Kerno. So if Mackay can do better, that's pretty good. And considering last week we probably gained those points back, we lost nearly, so that's great. Yeah, and Zorko. Just played the classic Zorko game, racking up everything. Good matchup against Melbourne, so pretty expected. As far as things are going, like, all we're going to look to do each week is just loop them. Loop Baker, loop Mackay if we can, and see who we can get a good score out of. Round 17. So what's that see? That sees Collingwood, Essendon, and North Gold Coast. So yeah, another early North game is frustrating. I guess we can at least look at looping Richards, because I thought Richards played pretty good. If he gets like an 80 or a 90, because this was a sub game, he's 36. If he gets an 80 or a 90, I'll probably just take that, to be honest. Because I feel like GWS isn't the greatest matchup for him, so I don't mind taking that score if I can. Let's put Zorko back on field. What's optimizing going to do for us today? It's going to put Baker on, so he must have a better projection here. But we're going to go for something like this probably. Look at Emergency Richards and see if we can get a good score there, and then put Dawson in. otherwise, what do we got? Maybe I'll probably start. Oh no, that's why do Essendon have an early game? Why do all my loops have early games? So Dawson, because it would have been nice to loop Baker with someone, but I can't. Like in my defense, if Richards goes well, because I'll probably just play Mackay over Baker. Baker's getting put forward a lot, which is frustrating. You know, the injuries aren't there for Richmond, so he's not getting the role as such anymore. North Gold Coast, that's probably a really good matchup for both Flanders and yeah, I reckon the VC on Flanders is a good one here, and probably a good matchup for McKerch if he gets a game. So I might loop that, but it all depends on Kynan Brown if he gets a game, because I just don't have dead rooks where I need them or with the games I need. So that's a little bit annoying, but I'd probably, it's pretty hard not to, I could actually loop Martin, couldn't I? That might be one we look at, but then I'm going to be stressing on Brown, so we'll see how that plays out, because I'm not really sure what else I can do there, to be honest. But anyway, we've got the loop with Livingston. So that's a good loop to have. Who will I look to loop into that spot? I'm not really sure who I'd like to loop with Flanders. I mean, Bont seems like a pretty good option. Port don't really tag either, so that's probably a decent score coming for him there. Let's have a look at his last game. He's going to go like 720 as well, the way he's scoring. Oh, he's gone 160, 150. No wonder he's priced so high. And he only went up 8K, and his break even's still at 85. Jesus Christ. Projected 155. That is wild. All right, so got a big projection for Bont. Hopefully Flanders can put a big enough score on. Oh no, they play at the same time, so I can't actually do that. So it's either VC Bont or VC Flanders. Flanders seems like a bit of a better. Like there's every chance that Bont does get a tag or like some sort of pressure from like a drill or something. So, and I think Port will know they need to shut him down if they want to win. So I don't mind skipping that for a VC from Flanders. And then Captain Sarong should be fine, or Captain Ryan, because Ryan absolutely creamed Richmond last time, but there was different personnel. Like the injuries aren't as bad now. So 197, hard to like not go for, isn't it? What are they projecting? 120, 100. So bit of a difference, isn't there? But that should be a really good game for those two. So that's good. Yeah, otherwise captains, Gawn's got a good matchup, so you could go there. Because I think he didn't do amazing last game, but against them, but I think he could score well. Grundy against Marshall's actually a pretty good matchup. Probably, I mean, Laird and they actually really like playing against Brisbane and scoring well, so that could be something. But I assume the Berry tag will go to Dawson. Rankin scored really well against them last time, didn't he? He went like 120, I think, 142. There you go. So that could be one. And I guess like whoever Dacos is playing seems like it would be all right. Yeah, Essendon. I don't know. Caldwell could go to him. Maybe just let Dacos go. Merritt could probably be good. Probably any of those guys as well. So that gives you. There's a lot of options for captain. I felt like last week was actually pretty hard. Like I couldn't really see anyone that I really liked outside of Bont, so I just went Bont, and in the end, yeah, picked it. So that was pretty good. But anyway, there's not really much more to talk about. I'm not really doing any trades this week. It's probably just going to let it see how it goes. Maybe make a trade to get Jackson at some point where he bottoms out a bit because he's going to lose a bit of money, I assume. I would have liked Caldwell, but I'm not going to be able to get that. Yeah, he's probably going to lose more money. I'd say this break even is pretty high, 140. Darcy should be still playing, so that should help keep his score down. But yeah, like considering the midfield's pretty, like, my midfield's pretty shocking, isn't it? Like 100. I've got a couple guys averaging just over 100 in there, and then like playing. Yeah, like Nick Martin has been playing well. It would be really nice. I really would like to get Dunkley, and I really wouldn't mind taking the risk on it. If I had like another trade, man, I'd do this. God, I was gonna see. The annoying part is, right, I was thinking about picking him when I picked Rosie like the week before, and I didn't. I should have, because he's gone 140 both weeks, I'm pretty sure, and this is probably a 140 as well. Although he didn't go amazing last time. His last two actually haven't been great against the Crows, but yeah, 140, that's pretty tough to look at and having missed. But anyway, that's one for next year, because I'm sure he'll be good. He just gets, like, the thing is, Neil's so damaging for them that he just gets protected from tags. Like, you can't tag two players, so normally Dunkley gets kept pretty safe. But anyway, that's all from me. I hope you had a good week as well. Hope you're climbing the ranks. Hope you're getting ready for the rest of the season and building into the last few rounds. Hope you've got some nice loops on the bench so you can take advantage of some good matchups and get some players off when they don't have such good matchups as well. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.